In our lifetime, we absorb facts, information, and skills. We get our theoretical and practical understanding through education and experience. It's called knowledge. Welcome to television's longest-running high school quiz show, Knowledge Bowl. Let's join two of our 16 competing Northeast Michigan high schools and our host, Astrid Fitzpatrick, for today's match.
Hello and welcome to Knowledge Bowl, Michigan's longest running quiz show. I'm your host, Astrid Fitzpatrick. Today we have our game between Hillman and Atlanta. We'll start by introducing our team, starting with Atlanta and starting with their captain.
Clifford, junior.
Steven, sophomore.
Abby, freshman. Brianna, sophomore.
Donnie, sophomore. Brianna, junior.
And they're joined by their coach, Jen Colbert. And our team from Hillman, starting with their captain.
Caleb, junior.
Zach, senior.
Stuart, sophomore.
James, junior.
Camille, senior.
And they're joined by their coach today, Rebecca Schwartz. Our first round is a toss-up round, but before we start that, here are the rules.
Round 1 is a toss-up format. A question will be asked, and the first competitor to ring in has the opportunity to answer the question. If a correct answer is given, the team is awarded 10 points. No consulting is allowed. If the answer is incorrect, then the question goes to the opposing team to answer.
All right, we'll begin our first toss-up round. In geometry, the converse of a conditional statement is formed by interchanging what?
The hypothesis and conclusion.
That's correct. The acceleration due to the Earth's gravity is 9.8 meters per second. If an object is released from rest and falls freely, its instantaneous speed after 1 second is 9.8 meters per second. How many meters does it fall during that first second? Neglect air resistance and give your answer to the nearest tenths. And the correct answer was 4.9 meters. In the form of which animal did Zeus father the Gemini twins, Castor and Pollux, and who was their mother? Right, the correct answer was Swan and Leda. What ancient Roman poet is the only one to describe clearly the geography of the underworld? Caleb?
Oedipus.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Atlanta? The correct answer was Virgil. Find the quotient of, open parenthesis, 2m squared plus 17m plus 21, close parenthesis, divided by, open parenthesis, m plus 7, close parenthesis. Right, the correct answer was 2m plus 3. Plovers are birds which you would most likely find where? Caleb?
The tundra.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Atlanta? Stephen?
The desert.
Sorry, that's also incorrect. The correct answer was by the shore. Why did Tevye object to his third daughter's marriage in Fiddler on the Roof? The correct answer was because her husband was not Jewish. In The Republic by Plato, the ideal ruler was known by what hyphenated term? The correct answer was philosopher king. Who was the first Roman emperor to be assassinated by his own guards? Stephen?
Julius Caesar.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? The correct answer was Caligula. Which German city is the capital of the state of Bavaria? The correct answer was Munich. Who was the subject of Arthur Miller's After the Fall? correct answer was Marilyn Monroe, his wife. Many war survivors were unable to adjust to everyday life back home and suffered from sleeplessness, anxiety, and feelings of anger. Such veterans were told, or were said, sorry, Caleb?
PTSD.
That's correct. Or actually, judges?
Post-traumatic stress disorder.
Okay, yes, the correct answer is post-traumatic stress disorder. Name the creek in South Dakota where United States soldiers killed large numbers of Sioux in 1890. Abby?
Sand Creek.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? The correct answer was Wounded Knee. Continental Airlines began daily flights in March from Newark to the capital of this South American country, which is bordered on the north by Ecuador and Colombia, on the east of Brazil, and on the south by Chile and Bolivia. What is its name? Cliff?
Argentina.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? The correct answer was Peru. Who delivered the main eulogy at Ron Brown's funeral? Correct answer was President Clinton. Which U.S. state is launching Operation Myconia to wipe out an alien weed imported from Latin America that grows up to 50 feet in height and is now choking out native plants of all its islands? Stephen?
Hawaii.
That's correct. In a memo sent to the Federal Networking Council, scientists noted that which network was in a disastrous state, suffering from catatonic connections and very slow access for the researchers and scientists since it became a mass media system for non-professionals. The correct answer was the Internet. Which two international aid organizations pulled out of Liberia because of the wanton carnage and lawlessness following the overthrow of the government by anarchists? Caleb?
ISIS and Al Qaeda.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Atlanta? Correct answer was Red Cross and United Nations. Saudi Arabia and which other oil-rich Middle East nation agreed to end a border dispute that strained relations and led to armed conflict? Stephen?
Iraq.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman?
Iran.
I'm sorry, that's also incorrect. The correct answer was Qatar. And that's all the time we have for our first round. We'll be right back with some scores. All right, welcome back. So far we've got Atlanta with 10 points and Hillman with 20 points. Our next round is the bonus round, but before we start that, here are the rules.
This is the bonus round. It consists of toss-up questions, as in round 1. However, this is the twist. The team answering correctly then gets 4 bonus questions. For each question answered correctly, a series of points will be awarded. Team members can consult, but only the team captain can answer the question. After an incorrect answer, the toss-up portion begins again for both teams.
All right, we'll start our bonus round with the first question. A team of European physicists recently produced a new element by fusing zinc with lead in a particle accelerator. The new element, which has an atomic mass of 277, sits in the same column of the periodic table as zinc. Name one other element that occupies this column. Stephen?
Iron.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? Right, the correct answers were cadmium or mercury. Instead of getting married shortly after high school, Americans today are more likely to live alone or with a roommate for several years before giving up the single life. Within 2 years, what is the median age of young men getting married for the first time? Caleb?
32.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Atlanta? Stephen?
26.
Judges? Okay, that's good. It was 26.7 years. Okay, translate. Oh, sorry. Though he set it in 1901, Napoleon Lajoie still holds a record in this professional sport. And the correct answer was baseball. University of North Carolina researchers say that what October holiday offers children an opportunity to become masters, not victims? Caleb?
Halloween.
That's correct.
That's pretty good.
Who said each of the following? The three tyrants are the external world, the superego, and the id.
Freud, Sigmund Freud.
Yep, that's correct. Nonviolence is the first article of my faith. It is also the last article of my creed.
Just gotta talk up to me.
Pass.
The correct answer was Gandhi. What is the major theme of Thornton Wilder's play Our Town? A, life in the big cities is spiritually degrading. B, children are the means of humankind's immortality. C, the American dream has become meaningless. Or D, even the small moments in life have great value and meaning. Stephen?
D.
That's correct. D, even the small moments in life have great value and meaning. Okay. Sometimes convicted felons who are about to be executed for their crimes are granted a postponement of this execution for a period of time. What is the correct term for this postponement?
Furlough.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. The correct answer was stay of execution. Okay. What Oklahoma City calls itself the oil capital of the world? The correct answer was Tulsa. The Hungarian physicist Denis Gabor won a 1971 Nobel Prize for the invention of three-dimensional photography, also known as what? Stephen?
Printing. I didn't mean to
I'm
press
sorry,
the
that's
button.
incorrect. Hillman? The correct answer was holography, making holographs. Which of the following is an example of a ruminant? Auk, deer, marmot, jaguar, or otter?
Otter.
Sorry, Stephen?
I was going to say otter.
Okay, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? Caleb?
Hawk.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. The correct answer was deer. What is the value of, open parenthesis, 4 to the third power plus 8, close parenthesis, divided by, open parenthesis, 2 to the fourth power minus 7, close parenthesis? And the correct answer was 8. Is a cobber eaten, thrown, smoked, worn, or ridden? Stephen?
Worn.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman?
Eaten.
Sorry, that's also incorrect. Correct answer was thrown. Define and spell encroach. Okay, the correct answer was E-N-C-R-O-A-C-H, and it means to trespass, intrude, or take undue liberties with. The use of any electronic device to intercept and eavesdrop on private telephone conversations is called what?
Wiretapping.
Yep, that's correct. Name either one of the only, oh, sorry. All right. What is the common name for the intersection of the two axes of the Cartesian coordinate system?
The origin.
That's correct. The point -2, 3 lies in which quadrant?
The fourth quadrant.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Correct answer was the second quadrant. Okay, name either one of the only two chemical elements that end in Y.
Antimony.
We need one
And,
more.
I have no idea.
It says either one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay, I'm sorry, that was correct. We also would have taken mercury. Okay, give these words whose tail end is the word tail. A chilled alcoholic drink mixed with flavorings.
Cocktail.
Yep, that's correct. The final stage in the chain of distribution from manufacturer to consumer. Caleb?
Retail.
That's correct. A small military group sent on special duty.
Detail.
That's correct. And to impose or require. Caleb?
Intel.
That's correct. Okay, name the only person who knew the true identities of Batman and Robin in the 1960s cult TV hit. Stephen?
Alfred the butler.
That's correct. Okay. Given the set of data that consists of 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, and 3, find the mode. Stephen?
3.
That's correct. The arithmetic mean. Right, the correct answer was 2 1/3. Right, and that's all the time we have for our second round. We'll be right back with some updated scores. All right, welcome back. So far we've got Atlanta with a score of 45 and Hillman with a score of 110. We're also joined by alternates. On Atlanta's side, we have Brianna Gross and Donnie Fuller, and on Hillman's side, we have Camille Laporte. Our next round is a 60-second round, but before we start that, here are the rules.
This is our 60-second round. The team with the lowest score selects from one of the 4 categories of 10 questions. The team that has 60 seconds to answer as many questions as possible. Each correct answer is worth 10 points. Any missed questions will then be answered by the opposing team. An additional 20-point bonus is awarded for answering all 10 questions correctly.
All right, we'll start the first part of the round with Atlanta. They've chosen the category odds and ends. A conditional sentence usually begins with what word?
If.
That's correct. Which term identifies an eagle on a par 3 hole?
A birdie.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Newspapers in New York, Denver, and Houston share what name?
Times.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. In woodworking shop class, you turn table legs or candlesticks on what?
Pass.
According to Jacob's dream in Genesis 28, what did the angels use to get to and from heaven?
Pass.
This Hindi word for prince is from the same root as rex, the Latin word for king.
Pass.
While many countries have kings as head of state, Monaco and Liechtenstein have what?
Prince.
That's correct. And Hillman. Which term identifies an eagle on a par 3 hole?
2 under par.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Newspapers in New York, Denver, and Houston share what name?
Daily.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. In woodworking shop class, you turn table legs or candlesticks on what?
Ladle.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. According to Jacob's dream in Genesis 28, what did the angels use to get to and from heaven?
Ladder.
That's correct. And this Hindi word for prince is from the same root as rex, the Latin word for king.
Pass.
Okay. And Hillman had chosen the math category. Okay. What number, when doubled, equals twice as much as when squared?
2.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. What is the perimeter of a 3.5-foot square? That's correct. What is the simplified form of the square root of 72?
Three square root of 7.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. What name is given to an angle which is formed by 2 radii of a circle?
Pass.
What is the least common multiple of 20 and 30?
60.
Okay. And back to Atlanta. What number, when doubled, equals twice as much as when squared?
12.
Sorry, that's incorrect. What is the simplified form of the square root of 72?
6.3.
Sorry, that's incorrect. What name is given to an angle which is formed by 2 radii of a circle?
Pass.
And what is the least common multiple of 20 and 30?
10.
What was that?
10.
Okay, no, I'm sorry, that was incorrect. All right, and that's it for our 60-second round. We'll be right back with some updated scores. All right, welcome back. We've got Atlanta with a score of 65 and Hillman with a score of 130. Our last round is a toss-up round, just like the first one. So we'll get right into that. It's another way of saying don't act before you have some chance of success. Identify this famous command given by William Prescott, an American officer at the Battle of Bunker Hill. Caleb?
Don't fire till you can see the whites of their eyes.
That's correct. How is the word by used in the following sentence? The colonel told me to stand by. Stephen?
To stay where you are.
We're looking at how the word by was used in that sentence. Hillman? Caleb?
A verb.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. The correct answer was adverb. The eye of a hurricane is characterized by A, high winds, B, high pressure, C, low humidity, or D, low pressure. Stephen?
Low pressure.
That's correct. A hammer being used to remove a nail from a board is an example of which simple machine? Donnie?
Lever.
That's correct. What has no reflection, no shadow, and can't stand the smell of garlic? Stephen?
Vampire.
That's correct. It is better to have loved and lost, wrote Elizabeth Barrett Browning, than what? Stephen?
Than to have never loved at all.
That's correct. Mount McKinley, or Denali, is the highest peak in America. What nation's highest elevation is the summit of the Grossglockner? Stephen?
Asia.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman? Correct answer was Austria. What is the common name for dichlorodiphenyl trichloroethane? Stephen?
Gasoline.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman?
Propane.
No, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. The correct answer was DDT. What is indicated by a double colon in mathematics? Right, correct answer was ratio or proportion. The first 2 Hanoverian kings took little interest in their new country. In fact, the first one spent most of his time in Germany and never bothered to learn the English language. Can you name them? Correct answers were George I and George II. The followers of Saint Francis of Assisi sought to spread their gospel by which of the following? A, fiery preaching and manual labor. B, providing an example of piety, humility, and good works. C, waging military campaigns against religious heretics. Or D, the widespread use of torture and intrigue. Or E, painstakingly hand copying the New Testament. Caleb?
E.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Stephen?
D.
I'm sorry, that's also incorrect. The correct answer was B, providing an example of piety, humility, and good works. What role did Carpathia play in the events surrounding the Titanic disaster? Donnie?
They warned the ship of the iceberg.
I'm sorry, what was that?
They warned the ship about the iceberg.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Hillman?
They rescued survivors.
Yep, that's correct. They received the distress call and picked up the survivors. In musical notation, symbols are used to indicate pitch and duration. In modern music, by what percentage is a musical note lengthened if it has a dot after it? Donnie?
50.
That's correct. The Dominican Republic shares the island of Hispaniola with Haiti. The Indonesian province of Irian Jaya shares an island with an independent country. Name either that country or the island.
Jamaica.
Sorry, that's incorrect. Atlanta? Stephen?
Never mind.
Okay, the correct answer was Papua New Guinea or New Guinea. What branch of physics is divided into dynamics, statistics, and kinematics? Right, the correct answer was mechanics. Seances are held every Halloween to try to contact the spirit of escape artist and magician Harry Houdini. Why is Halloween the favored time to hold these seances? Caleb?
Because it's the day he died.
Yep, correct. It was the day he died in 1926. All Saints' Day is observed by Christians on November 1st, a day which commemorates the blessed, especially those who have no feast day. Which holy day is celebrated on November 2nd, a day which commemorates the faithful departed? Caleb?
The Day of the Dead.
I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Atlanta? Right, the correct answer was All Souls Day. Right, and that's all the time we have for our last round. We'll be right back with the final scores. All right, welcome back. Our final scores are Atlanta with 115 and Hillman with 160. So congratulations to Hillman, our winners today. Join us next week where we'll have Elkona versus Fairview, and I'll leave you with a quote by Carl Jung. Knowledge rests not in truth alone, but in error also. So don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's why they put the little erasers on pencils. Have a good night.